Om Shanti. A very warm welcome to all of you and good evening. So, जिनको भी हिंदी में सुनना है आप ज़ूम में इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑप्शन में हिंदी लैंग्वेज सिलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. So, today's topic is little bit more sensitive, I would say, and we all actually go through in our life some point in time, right? And what is that? Healing from grief, right? So what is grief? Grief is nothing but a very natural emotional response to a loss of someone or something to which I have deep attachment. And so we all go through in our life, right? And grief can also trigger because of maybe losing a job, right? Losing a personal identity, or losing a sense of purpose in life. These all create grief, right? One more reason could be end of relationship also creates grief, right? And so these are really very challenging, difficult situations in life which we all come across, and it's not easy to go through it. And so to understand or how to really heal myself from it, we can take up few things, right? First of all, it is said that the grief is nothing but it is a process, and process of where initially you will find that there is a denial, right? Because you think, oh, it is not happening, or you hear this message that someone has lost, someone you have lost, and your mind says, no, you have all these memories that, oh, I spoke to that individual, I spent time with that individual. All of those memories comes in, and you are in that denial that how can that happen, right? And so first phase could be a denial. And once you are juggling between denial and the reality, then what comes is an anger, aggression comes. Why it happened to me? And so that could be the second phase, right? Then along with that, there could be a depression, right? And then along with depression also, we really try to come out of it. So we challenge ourselves, we try to motivate ourselves, and there is acceptance. So not necessary that everyone goes through a similar process, but somewhat these are the things, these are the phases which you will experience in grief. Not necessarily in the same order the way I described, but more or less you go through it. But one thing you need to understand, that there is no time limit to it, that I have to overcome that within this much amount of time, right? So be patient with yourself, and you have to really see what emotions you are going through. And so I think the very first thing which I need is to acknowledge your grief, right? Try to understand it, right? That what has happened, and how really I can understand it, so that the more you understand, you will find that we become more capable of dealing with it. And so acknowledging is very, very important, that whatever has happened, right? Even though your other mind will keep on telling that no, they should be here, and the other reality of your mind tells you that they are not there. So it's a very confused and mixed feelings, and it really impacts you emotionally, also physically, and also mentally. So how it affects emotionally, because there are mixed feelings, you are very confused, you don't know what to do, and many times, most of the times, we are not aware of it, that something like that is going to happen. So it many times it is sudden, and so it is like a shock, right? That the heart, there is a breakage in the heart, in the not the physical but emotionally, in a way, that you have to take that grief, and you are not able to really ready for it, right? So that is why it becomes very challenging. But the more you try to understand yourself, the more it will become easier to go through it, right? And many times what I need to do is that the way to release that pressure, emotional tension or emotional pressure which is created by all these different kind of feelings and thoughts, what I need to do is I need to release it in whatever form I'm comfortable with. Many times you will find people like to talk to someone whom they trust, to vent out those feelings, so that they can be at ease, right? Or sometimes the personality of a person could be that you will go in more in solitude, and you find your own ways to deal with it. So whatever that process is, if I follow that, it will make it easier, right? So seek support, and there is nothing wrong. It is not that many times we think that, oh, I am very strong, maybe emotionally, I am very strong, or I am very strong physically. But in these kind of situations, you may not be able to hold that, or you may not have strength at that time. So it is okay. Accept yourself. It's fine. Sometimes situations are more stronger and bigger, and at that time you feel that, yeah, I am not capable to handle it, right? And this is where I was saying that acknowledging, right, your grief. And when you acknowledge, it becomes much more easier, right? And sometimes people cry, right? And that is also good, because it will again release that burden, that tension which has built up in your mind. So when you cry also, it becomes easier to deal with it, right? So whatever way you can work with yourself, you can try that, and don't be really harsh with yourself, that why I am feeling like that, because many times we question ourselves and we make it more difficult in that time, right? So at that time, have self compassion, self love, right, which is needed really at that very moment, right? The another thing which you would have heard is that time heals, right? So sometimes in these kind of situations, I may not be able to manage myself very quickly or very easily. So what I need to do is give more time to yourself to heal, right? And giving more time is having more patience, right? And that will help you to release that sorrow which you are carrying, right? Another thing which you can do is create a space for self-care, right? Because many times what happens, as I was saying, that it is this grief comes out of very deep attachment. And so because of this deep attachment, what happens is you are attached to an individual or attached to something and which is not there. What happens that it becomes very, very difficult in a way, because one side of yourself wants to always stay connected, maybe through memories or anything, right? And the other side of the reality is that they are not there, and you are not able to have those feelings, or you are not able to cherish those moments with that individual, right? So it becomes very, very confusing, and this is why it becomes difficult. So what I need to work on is really my attachment. I have to let go my attachment. I need to work on that. That will help me to overcome grief, right? And as you are acknowledging it, the more you take supportive measures, right? And more you talk to yourself, it becomes easier. Also, as I was saying, that if you have self-care practices is maybe taking a walk, right? Or being with nature, or contemplating, right, positively, or meditating. All this process really helps to care about yourself, and that will also make it easier to go through this difficult time, right? Then what other thing what you can do is honor the memory of your loved one or relationship. We all have beautiful, sweet memories of relationship of the loved one who has left, right? So relive those very positive moments, positive experiences of life, right? And honor them, and also feel fortunate that I was with that individual and I had these beautiful experiences, right? So it is very important that I see the positive side of it and hold that positive side whenever you have to remember, or whenever you recall. Always recall these positive memories, beautiful time which you have spent, and that will create a very positive feeling in yourself, right? And so what I have done is especially appreciating those memories, but not only just to that extent, but also take one step forward is that whatever they have done in your life, be ready to do that, bring that benefit to many others. This is like continuing that virtue, that value of their life, and spreading that light in many others' life, right? And that is a very uplifting and very positive feeling. So on one side you are remembering them, but on the other side you will feel so good about yourself that you are actually spreading that vibration, spreading that fragrance of that individual, which is not present at this time, but that fragrance of that virtues, that calmness, or that peace, or that being love, or being harmonious, whatever that person was carrying it all the time, you have now made yourself an instrument to carry that virtue, that quality, and that brings a sense of a great pride. Okay, and this will really help you, because this is your very, very pure positive self. And so if I'm able to maintain that, I think that is the best way of dealing these kind of difficult times, right? The other aspect is accept the change, right? Even though it is very difficult, you cannot even think of living a life without that individual. So whatever that space is created, fill that space with newness, right? So accept the change, that this is what has happened, and I have to live my life, and I have to live a life, and how I want to live a life. So prepare yourself, plan yourself for that, right? Because it will give you an opportunity to think, to do it in a different way. Yeah, you had expected something, but now those expectations are are crushed, right? And so now I have to create a new hope, new feeling, new creativity in life. And so create a goal, a vision, that what you want to do now, how I want to live a life now, and then hold that into your vision and really bring that into a practical life, right? Because somewhere I have to accept it, that whatever has happened, even though I don't like it, but I have to continue my journey. And that is actually a reality of life, right? And so I always give this example, which you will all will be able to relate to, right? Say for example, you have to go somewhere, and you have decided to go by train, right? And so when you are waiting at the station, you will find that the train is coming from somewhere. There are passengers in the train, right? And when the train comes to the station, most of the people stay on the train. Some get off, and few get on to the train, like me, right? And then the train continues, right? And what happens? The next stop comes. Again, few will get down, few will get onto the train, right? And if my station has not come, I will still continue my journey, right? So that is what life is about, right? And in this journey of train, many times what happens is we meet people, we make new friends, we spend very good time, we have good conversations, right? But when the time comes for the person whom you are interacting with has to get off, that person gets off, says that okay, I have to leave, this is my station, I have to get off, we'll meet. And if you have really good connection, maybe you will exchange phone number, but then you will say, yeah, okay, we'll meet some another time, and you will get off, right? That person will get off, and the communication ends pretty much at that time, right? So life is also like that, right? So I have to understand, if I see life, that this is how life is. And this is an example of just traveling on a train. But if you look at the journey of life, it is also pretty much same. I came into this world just by myself, right? There are already people living here. And then I became part of this journey, right, with some individuals, and I spend time with them. Some I spend more time, some I spend less time, right? But then everyone has to also leave, right? Because I have come by myself and I have to leave by myself, isn't it? So we know the reality of life. And so if we accept this reality of life, that this is how life is, right? Then these moments of grief, I will be able to handle it much, much more in a better way, right? It is like, I always give this another example also. It is like sun, right? Many times what we say is, sun rises in the morning and sun sets in the evening, right? But if I said, really, does sun rises in the morning? Or is it really sun sets in the evening? Right? Maybe, yeah, where am I? Maybe in the morning sun rises and the sun sets. But if you look at the bigger picture, then you will find that the sun has rised in this corner of the world and sun has set in this corner of the world. But sun is now rising in the another corner of the world, right? So sun never rises or never sets, ideally, right? So life is also like that. So if you look at the spiritual journey of life, you will find that the soul, the energy, is eternal, imperishable. And so the journey actually continues. But we think that my journey begins when I am born and my journey ends when I leave the body, right? But is it what is the real picture? What is the real picture? Real picture is that the soul is eternal, immortal, imperishable energy. And so you will find that maybe somewhere in the family there could be sorrow because someone has left. But you will find that that soul on a journey, when that soul takes a new birth, there is happiness in the another family, isn't it? Right? So once I am able to see a bigger picture, then I can understand, then I will have empathy, then I have compassion, and I see things more positively, right? And so this is what I have to look at life, right? Because the person who has left us had a very beautiful qualities, right? And then that is why we miss them, right? That is why we feel vacuum when someone leaves, right? But imagine that same individual will go to some another family. That person is going to spread that same qualities with another family. So that person is going to continue to radiate those qualities, right? And so I see that it is our fortune that we were able to spend quality time with them. We had such a good moments with them, right? And so I have to cherish those moments, on the contrary, right? And learn from that individual what that person has given to you in your life, right? So if you see it in this perspective, then I think there are many positive things which you can take, because these are the moments where actually you have to take ownership. These are the things which will make you more mature, right? And so if you see it with a bigger heart, right, bigger wisdom, right, greater wisdom, then you will find that there is always some purpose in it, there is some significance in it. And if I'm able to find that sense of purpose in it, then I think then you continue your journey. Because it is not that, because many times what happens, when I go through a grief, you will find that physically also it really impacts, right? That you will not, your taste buds will not work, you will not have any interest in eating food, there is no interest in living life, there is no interest in enjoyment, and all of that happens. Why? Because of that emotional turmoil which it has created, right? But if I keep patience, if I accept this reality of life, then I can become much more internally stronger, emotionally stronger, so that I can continue my journey of life, right? And so that I can overcome. It could be depression, it could be anger, frustration, whatever it is there because of loss. But that loss is going to teach you some important lessons of life. And I have to really ask myself, have I understood those lessons? Have I learned those lessons which life is teaching me? Right? So I have to see it from that perspective, because life is nothing but an opportunity to learn, opportunity to grow. So am I learning and am I growing? Right? So life has many things to offer, but if I see it in positive way, then I can see what life has to offer, right? But if I have a very narrow sighted, if I'm narrow sighted, right, if I have a smaller heart, if I don't have a broader vision, then I feel and I go through so much emotional turmoil, right? But this is the reality of life, and so I need to understand it, learn it, and accept it, right? Okay. If you have any questions, you can also put it into chat. We can do it after the meditation. Okay, so let's have a self-talk. Om Shanti. Sit comfortably Make sure your back is straight. Feet is grounded. Arms are in relaxed position. And when I look at myself, I see myself on a journey of life. And this journey of life, there are good times and bad times. Journey is sum total of good and bad. Knowing and accepting this reality of life, I am at rest, I am at peace. I also now know that these times which I go through, maybe I am going through a difficult time, but this journey of time is constant changing, and so these difficult times are going to change and good times are going to come. This is the reality of life. And so accept this reality. That sometimes I am midst of problems and situations, and sometimes I'm out of it. And when I accept this, when I understand my own life, I become more patient. Patience is a very beautiful quality to have. Patience allows me to understand myself. It allows me to understand my own emotions. When I understand myself, it becomes very easy to work with myself. So I will always give a benefit of doubt to myself. I will always see myself with positivity. I truly like myself the way I am conversating with my own self. I see my positive self. Seeing myself with positivity allows me to have belief in myself. Self-belief self-belief is like a shield to protect my own self from negative emotions and feelings. I am more grounded. I also now understand that I have come to this world by myself. And I have to go back by myself. The reality of life is that there is constant change. One second of my present doesn't match with any other second of my life. There is constant change. And when I accept this change, I am okay. As the water of the river continually flows, in the same way, this journey of life continues. It never stops. And when I ask these questions, why, what, how, to my journey, I come to a standstill, and which is abnormal, unnatural. And so, I have to continue to move forward, just like water of the river. It is said time waits for no one. And this journey is to move on. It is not to stop. It is not for to stop and to cry. Life is to move on. So let me accept this lesson of life. That I have to continue to move on. And when I continue to move, there is newness. There is zeal and enthusiasm. So let me promise myself that I will never get stuck to one thing or another, because now I have understood the deep secret of life. To keep moving. Life is to learn and relearn. And when I learn, I progress. When I learn, I become more mature. Aha. Now I have really understood journey of life. I promise to myself that each and every second, each and every moment of my life, I will live with hope, zeal, and enthusiasm. Each and every moment of my life is an opportunity. And I'm not going to let go of these opportunities which life has to offer. With this positive feeling, positive attitude, I am ready to live a life with hope and with zeal and enthusiasm. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Do you have any questions? You can put it into chat. I think there is no question, so that's good. Okay, so thank you very much for joining, attending this session. I hope you have learned few things from this, and I hope you practice it. All the best.
Thank you so much.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Shanti.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you, Hemant Bhai. Excellent examples. Om Shanti.